Bonjour à tous, c'est Madame Laurent. Euh, alors, ceci est notre troisième leçon de la semaine. Écrivez la date qui correspond ainsi que le titre et soulignez. This is Miss Laurent speaking. This is our third lesson of the week. Write down the correct date and the title. Attention, écrivez bien les accents. Make sure you don't forget the accents on A in the title, accent going down. The accent will never go up on the letter A in French, never. If there is an accent, it's going down on the letter A. This accent indicates that it's the word at. If you did not have the accent, it would mean has from the verb to have, okay? So that's the reason for that accent. And don't forget the accent on the first E of soirée. And that accent indicates that you should pronounce the E, et. Soirée, okay? Invitation à ma soirée. Invitation to my party. Alors, les objectifs cette semaine sont les mêmes. Les objectifs de cette leçon sont les mêmes que les objectifs de toute cette semaine. Vous les avez devant les yeux. So we've got the same objectives as for this whole week. And today in particular, we'll focus on correcting our translation and learning from it, and creating an invite for a future party. Okay? Reusing all the vocab and tenses we've learned this week. Alors, remember that you can pause this video anytime if you need more time to complete an activity, obviously. Ok. Alors, correction de la traduction du texte. This was the text that you had to translate in the previous lesson. So here is the correction. Make sure you take a red pen or green pen and you correct absolutely everything. First of all, I'm going to read the text and you can practice repeating it just to work on your pronunciation. And then I will go through the translation and explain everything. So, la semaine prochaine, on va organiser une soirée pour célébrer mon anniversaire. Tout d'abord, on va envoyer des invitations à mes amis. Ensuite, on achètera de la nourriture et des boissons pour le buffet. On doit aussi télécharger de la musique et décorer la salle. Ce sera samedi soir à 18h. Ça va être chez moi et ce sera génial, car nous mangerons des sandwichs et nous boirons du coca. Est-ce que tu peux apporter une boisson? Okay, so as you can see in pink, I've put the verbs that you have to conjugate in the near future, le futur proche. You can recognize that every time you've got the pronoun and then the verb aller conjugated in the present tense, and then the infinitive. Okay? On va organiser. We are going to organize. On va envoyer. We're going to send. Ça va être. It is going to be. Okay? And the verbs in purple are in the simple future, le futur simple. On achètera. We will buy. There's an accent going down on the first E. You could not guess it. This is something that happens for some verbs ending in ER. When you conjugate them in the future or conditional, there is that accent that goes down on the first E. There's just a few verbs that are like that. Don't worry if you did not put the accent. Add it now. And remember that for acheter in the future and conditional, you add this accent going down. Then you had ce sera, it will be. Remember, être is irregular in the future, so I use the irregular stem, ser. and the ending of avoir, a. The ending was a because ce or ça means it. It takes the same form of the verb as il, elle, and on. Okay? So ce sera, it will be. Then we had ce sera again, it will be. And then nous mangerons, we will eat. You can see I kept the whole infinitive. I kept the ER and then I added the ending of avoir for nous. Nous mangerons. And finally, nous boirons. That's the verb boire, to drink. I took my infinitive, but because it's an RE verb, remember for RE verb, we just drop the E because it's mute. We drop the E and then we add the ending. So boirons, will drink. Okay? There were other verbs in the text, like doit, that's the verb devoir. I kept it in black because it's just in the present tense, okay? On doit, we must. And you also had peut, tu peux apporter. That's the verb pouvoir. Remember, we've learned these in the first term. Pouvoir and devoir. They are modal verbs, remember? So they are followed by an infinitive. Télécharger, you keep the ER. Apporter, you keep the ER. Okay? So, going through the translation. La semaine prochaine, semaine is feminine, so you needed la in front of it, and you need to add the I at the end of prochaine, because prochaine is the adjective, and it refers to semaine. So you do the adjective agreement. So la semaine prochaine, on va organiser une soirée pour célébrer, to celebrate. Don't forget the accent, make sure you've got them. Mon anniversaire, careful with the spelling. Double N. Okay. Anniversaire. Then tout d'abord, that means firstly. Check your spelling. Tout d'abord, on va envoyer des invitations à mes amis. Accent going down on the A. Mes amis. It's mes, MES, because that's the word for my, for plural. Remember, we've got 3 words that mean my in French. Mon in front of masculine words, ma in front of feminine words, and mes when it's plural. And here, because I'm talking about my friends, I need mes. It's plural. Careful with the spelling of ami. There's no I after the A. It's not the verb M, it's ami. Then we had the connective then, ensuite. Remember this word, make sure you use it in your essays. It looks good. Ensuite, on achètera de la nourriture, some de la nourriture, some food and drinks pour le buffet. On doit aussi télécharger IR, make sure you've got the IR, de la musique et décorer la salle. Ce sera samedi soir. Samedi, there's no capital letter. It's not like in English. For days of the week, there's no capital letter. At 6 p.m., French people say at 18 hours. We don't say p.m. or a.m. in French. And we use a 24-hour clock most of the time. Ça va être chez moi. Chez moi means at mine. Et ce sera génial. Don't forget the accent going up. Car nous mangerons des sandwichs. If you've used parce que instead of car, that's okay. In GCSE, you will not be marked down if you use car or parce que, it's the same. Des sandwichs et nous boirons du coca. Coca is masculine, so you needed du. Du is the masculine. And then the question, it was a yes or no question. So you start with est-ce que, and then you make a statement. You can bring a drink. You see, you make a statement, and just by putting est-ce que in front of it, that turns it into a yes or no question. If you've got any more questions on the translation, you can contact your teacher. I hope that you managed to get most of it right. Double check your spelling. It's so important that you get it right. And I hope that you got the verbs correctly conjugated. Be careful with the irregular verbs, like here, sera. It's the verb être. Être is irregular in the future. So I hope you remembered that. Ok, très bien. Maintenant, on continue. Alors, now you need to create an event. So reusing everything you've learned this week, you need to write an email to invite your friends to your party. To help you with this, you should use the vocab provided on Kaboodle in exercise 6, page 95. Don't just use the phrases as they are on Kaboodle, okay? Try to adapt them. Adapt them to fit whatever you want to say. If you need to look up vocab, use word reference, but not Google Translate. But the aim of this exercise is for you to reuse the vocab that I've taught you this week. For GCSE, what we want to see is that you can reuse the vocab that is being taught. The vocab that we teach you in your lessons is the vocab that AQA expects you to know. So you can look for extra vocab on word reference if you want to say exactly something in particular. However, really in GCSE, if you want to succeed, you need to use the vocab that is being taught in class. That's the way to get the top mark. Okay, if you reuse this vocab in your own sentences, that's how to get a good grade. Okay, so write down your email to invite your friends to your party. Do this in your book, okay? And then create a great poster to advertise for it. I've put an example. You can see on the slide. You can make it look very pretty. Make sure you include all the details: the location, the time, what people should bring, the occasion, type of music, dress code, etc. I've chosen this picture in particular because this week in France we're celebrating the three wise men, the kings, and you know, in France many people will have galette des rois. It's this cake where the baker will hide a little figurine, and if you get the slice that has that figurine, you become the king or queen for the day. It's a big tradition in France. So this is an example of a poster advertising for a party where people would eat the galette des rois. Okay, but you can imagine that you create any event, birthday or a party. Be creative, make it look very pretty, and make sure you check your work, check your spelling, and add as much detail as possible. Okay? So I hope to see lovely posters at the end of this lesson. Do all of this in your book. And if you've got any question, you can contact your French teacher. Voilà, très bien. Au revoir la classe.